Morning, Nanny Carrot here, and it's very early. I got up at 5:30 thinking the clock said 6:30. So I've gone for an early morning walk, and this is the other plot, the allotment plot. Nice and bright and sunny this morning, and everything's growing really nicely here. So I thought I'd show you around. Cauliflowers there at the front, been eaten a bit, but I think they'll survive. That's the pigeons do that. Onions will soon be ready to come out. Actually got sweet corn growing nicely. Really quite excited about that. Let's have a little look at it a bit closer. It's putting on some nice growth. Tomatoes. That's good. Lots of them. Right, let's have a look here. Yep, look, flowers coming on there. Can you see it? There's a flower head there. Just need the cobs to form at the bottom. Here's some kaleets. They've been left alone apart from the one in the middle, so they should be good. And the tomatoes again, cosmos there for floral interest, and there's a bean there in the middle, French bean. The tomatoes are blight resistant, which I hope means they won't get blight. When it's blight resistant, it doesn't mean it's not going to get it at all, but it's got more of a chance of surviving the blight that we get here that destroyed all my tomatoes last year. And there's some potatoes there that I hadn't pulled out all the potatoes last year, so they've grown, but they're lovely and healthy. I give them to my neighbours because it is his piece of land here that I'm using that he rents. He's now too frail to look after it himself, so he kind of lets me do it. There's some purple sprouting broccoli coming along there. Actually, it's not purple, is it? It's just a sprouting broccoli. I get confused. 'Tis early after all. And these are my main crop potatoes, which again are blight resistant because there was such a lot of problems here with blight last year because we did have such a wet summer. I've got another little lot of sweet corn here. So the book says that sweet corn can't be planted together if it's two different types because it'll cross-pollinate, so I've separated them. It's not so sunny down here. And as you can see, I'm starting to clear the rest of the plot. Next year, I want to put squash in there if I can cut back some of the bushes at the side as well. So that's my early morning visit. Now back to the garden, and I've just come in the gate and you can see here that I've got squash plants. So this is where I put the squash plants this year, or the majority of them. See how they do. Now where are those chickens? I let them out first of all, of course, before I went off exploring. And they will be around somewhere. Let's have a little look. Oh, I can see them playing with their football. They were quite excited because I was up so early and they could come out early because of a night time. We shut them in their little run. And they can come out of their little house because we don't shut that. This area seems to be pretty good or pretty free of predators. But it's just safer if they're in their run and they've got food and water in there. Plenty of food in there. Sorry about my wobbly walking. So there's Mimi. She's after the raspberries. And what they do is they jump up, pull the raspberry canes down and get the raspberries off. Now what with the blackbirds getting them from the top, I do stand very little chance. Now there was me thinking because the raspberries are very high, they might leave them alone. I didn't reckon for their chicken brains being quite so bright. It is lovely for them to be able to just explore, even if they are eating my food. But they can eat the bugs on the floor. The trouble is they eat most things. Where's Lola going? She's obviously remembered something. Yes, she has. And there's Alice, and she's still playing with the football. Isn't it funny? They've got a feeder full of feed, yet they'd much rather play ball and get the food out that way. Never ceases to amaze me. Playing with things and exploring things seems to be very important to them. And it's much more fun getting food that way. Back to Lola again, and there she is eating the chives. Chives? Sorry, chard. Now, when they were in their run, and I had them locked away in bird flu time, they had chard given to them. I'd hang it up for them as I cut it back, and they weren't in the slightest bit interested. But now they can go and find it themselves. It's much more fun. Yes, they do seem to enjoy it as well. But I've left that plant so that they can eat it. So don't worry, they're not eating my dinner. I've grown a new lot for this year. This lot's going to seed. But I just need to remember that I will need to protect the young new seedlings when I plant them out from the chickens. Now, as we're talking about protecting the plants from the chickens, let's have a little look and see what the rest of the garden is doing. Yep, as you can see, I've got things all over the place covering up food. I've tried to make homemade contraptions with the lids of boxes to shield the bean seeds, because the beans were being dug up and eaten before they had a chance to do anything. And I actually caught them doing it. They love brassicas, so the brassicas have had to be covered, because otherwise they'd rip them out by great chunks. But fortunately they've left us the peas and beans. The asparagus, they go underneath and get all the little grubs on the ground, which is a good thing. So I'm quite pleased about that. They do pick off the little flower things, which I suppose are fine for them to eat. I don't think they'd eat anything that they shouldn't do. I've had to put things round the edge of the salsify because they weren't eating it, they were just walking all over it. And round here where the beetroot is and where the Brussels sprouts are, I've had to cover all the Brussels sprouts because they were ripping at the leaves and taking mouthfuls, and I came out and they would have lost the lot. That's where they are now, having a bath. They've taken over this little bit of the garden, which they can have as their bathing area. And I do like to watch them having a bath. I can see them from the kitchen. Oh, that's lovely, isn't it? Gets rid of all those mites and things that might be in your feathers. Oh, look at it. They're having such a lovely time there. So, that's all from me today. So it's goodbye from Nanny Carrot and goodbye from the bathing chickens. Having a lovely dust bath. And I'll leave you with the chickens. Bye-bye.